What is up, guys? I do hope you're well. My name is Mark and today we're covering some more r/am I the butthole. If you're new here, please consider hitting that like, that subscribe and maybe that notification bell too, as it all really helps out our channel, and I can't stress that enough. A huge thank you to the members of our channel. You always inspire me to keep going. And with that being said, let's get straight in to today's stories. Much love, guys. Our first story comes from Away Republic. Am I the arsehole for asking for a different salesperson because the one that was helping me was too hot? I was looking to buy a car from a dealership, and the salesperson that happened to see me first was a very attractive woman that also happened to dress a bit provocatively. Not unprofessionally, but I personally considered it too much. I generally don't do well with people who are so attractive, they make me very uncomfortable, but I decided to give her a chance. I told her what I was looking for, and she showed me some models that they had available. The whole thing took about 20 minutes until I decided that this wasn't a person with whom I wanted to negotiate to buy a car. So I asked her if it's possible to see someone else to help me. She said she was working on commission and asked for the reason. I told her that I could understand that and apologised for wasting her time. I didn't really want to tell her the reason why I was asking for the change, so I chose not to answer her question. She said that it's no problem, but she, as a professional, would like to know what she did, as to avoid repeating the same mistake in the future. I could see no way out of it, and it was a fair request, so I told her politely as I could. She was too attractive, dressed too revealingly, and that made me uncomfortable with her. I could see that annoyed her, but she chose to take it in her stride and said she'll take that as a compliment, and then she tried to convince me to let her show me some other models. I, however, stood fast and told her I'd really prefer to see someone else, and apologised once again. Her face hardened, and she said that she'd go fetch someone, but before she left, she looked at me aggressively and told me that I don't have to apologise, because this isn't the first and won't be the last time she's losing a commission due to sexism. Was I the arsehole here? I realised the reason I gave her was maybe a bit controversial, but she asked for the truth, and I was very polite. I tried not to insult her, but she chose to see sexism for some reason. Although you said you was totally polite during this whole exchange, it comes across as very shallow, I've got to say. I've got to say you're the arsehole in the situation, purely because you discriminated her based on her looks, and you deprived her from making a possible commission just because of that, just because of her looks. And you was uncomfortable with it, and if you're that uncomfortable with it, you need to seek help, I think. And in one comment it said, at all events in life, social events or wherever, you're going to see beautiful women dressed in all different ways, and if you find that uncomfortable, well, that's a you problem, I'm afraid. What do you guys think of this story? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to vote in that top right hand corner. Our next story comes from Backglow Dusk. Am I the arsehole for choosing my boyfriend and his family over my own cult-like family? Okay, so long story short, I was born into a very strict Jehovah's Witness family. I wasn't ever that obedient as a child, and I've always been the one out of my siblings to question the beliefs our parents brought us up with. I'm the oldest of 11 kids. Holy shit. Sorry. And the only thing that's kept me from leaving is my younger siblings, as part of our religion is pretty much being completely disowned by the family after departure. So if I leave, I'll never be able to talk to my family again, and they'll never be able to talk to me. Even if we see each other in the street, they basically just pretend you never existed at all. I also have pretty severe pernicious anemia and chronic kidney disease, and my parents always refused me treatment. I was surprisingly allowed to go to university a couple of years ago when I was 18, although I lived at home and the university was a 5-minute walk away from my family home, and got into a relationship with my current boyfriend without my family knowing. They know of him, but as far as they're concerned, he's also Jehovah's Witness. I've had many chats with my boyfriend and his parents about how I've grown up, and the more we talk, the more I realise how truly messed up my childhood was. The main thing I remember is being told by my dad, when I got my period I was finally old enough to fulfil my purpose. I pretty much made a concrete decision to leave when I told my sister, closest in age to me, my plans, and although we've always been close, our conflicts within certain aspects of our religion have always got in the way of things. Leaving absolutely kills me because I know I'm sacrificing my relationships with my siblings, who I adore. She called me a disgrace and told my parents, who then kicked me out. I'm now living with my boyfriend and I'm relieved that I'm finally out of there, but am I the arsehole for leaving my siblings and my parents? Damn, that is a sad story, and it's more sad that you're not going to see your siblings again by the sounds of it, and they're probably going to be brainwashed. I don't know if I can say that, brainwashed into turning against you, which I think is absolutely disgusting. But I'd love to know more stories about this person, about what they're growing up, what they went through, what they was told. That thing that her dad said where she's fulfilling her purpose because she's on her period. How fucking grim is that? How disgusting can someone be? How toxic can that relationship be? The mum and the dad are an absolute disgrace in my opinion, and the OP isn't the arsehole. Imagine growing up like that. God, man. And it's sad that the sister betrayed you when you was trying to confide in her and telling her all your plans. It just shows how toxic this whole thing can be, you know. What do you guys think about this story? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to vote in that top right hand corner. And the next story comes from Damn Alleys. Would I be the arsehole if I were to run away from home and leave my disabled mother without help? Apologies for the format. I, 22 female, am a college student living at my mum's, 52 female, house due to COVID-19. I've been here since March and I'm at my wit's end. You see, my mum keeps getting bombarded with work and relationship related stress. She often vents to me about it. This has been a thing since I was a teenager. Long story short, she has a bad habit of taking that stress out on me. She'll berate me for doing something she perceives as wrong, like not doing the dishes or coming to her fast enough when she calls. She also has a track record with dating narcissists, one of whom she sees on a near daily basis. She acts as though she has no control over it, if she should go see him or not. I've told her countless times not to go see him, to no avail. He's a massive stressor, as she comes home upset more often than not. Overall, I'm just tired of being screamed at and having my boundaries constantly walked all over. I'm planning on moving out. My SO of 6 years lives in Texas, so I plan on taking a plane out there. My only issue is that my mum is disabled and would have almost no one to help her, aside from my dad, but he's not reliable. She also told me before that I would be abandoning her if I leave. I feel immensely guilty about leaving her alone with no help. She's a diabetic, has arthritis and limited shoulder mobility. Mum literally can't lift most items or open jars without help. I was originally going to go in July, since my SO was going to drive where I am on the west coast. Since the house is literally a borderline hoarder's mess, I've been trying to help clean up before I go. Those efforts are in vain because mum refuses to donate or throw anything out. I've made a detailed plan for storing appliances and organising the pantry. It was met with disdain and angry grumbling. This was the final straw for me, since I genuinely wanted to help, and met with more yelling about how I don't help enough. Would I be the arsehole if I moved out from home, leaving my disabled mother without help? Edit, change running away to moving out. Now I'm going to read this comment because it sums things up really, and it's something that I was thinking as I was reading it. This is from I Chose 88. Info. She is a diabetic, has arthritis and limited shoulder mobility. Mum literally can't lift most items or open jars without help. Now he says, at the risk of sounding like an arsehole myself, I have to ask, is this it? Is this her disability? That's not really my business, but if that's the list, she's pumping it up. There are 80-year-olds out there living alone who adjust. She's not too disabled to date on a daily basis. I'm pretty sure she can find someone to open a jar and start putting things at a chest level. Maybe I'm just an arsehole, or maybe she herself is also a narcissist. Probably both, but I'm far from a professional. To which the OP replied, that's the whole list. Limited mobility in the shoulders from surgery to remove scar tissue from an 8-year-old rotary cuff injury. The surgery was in January and she has more mobility in that before, but not much. She's neglecting her physical therapy. We have the means to do the basic exercise at home. She does not do them. Now everyone reacts to pain differently and stuff, but my dad, like, I'm going to use my dad as an example right now. My dad is like a 75-year-old man, limited mobility because he's got a chest strain, he's got asbestos related cancer, and he's surviving just fine on his own at the moment, and he's dealing with all sorts, you know. I know everything's different and everything's relative, so I can't judge too much, but I think she's playing you. I think she's playing you for not wanting to leave, and if you don't leave, you're going to get stuck further and further because she's going to rely on you more and more. You're 22 now, and you just want to live your life right. She's 52. I imagine she could do things on her own, and I'm not sure, you didn't say much about your dad apart from he's not reliable, but maybe you should become more reliable. What do you guys think about this story? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to vote in that top right hand corner. Our next story comes from Gallons of Rubbing. Am I the arsehole for telling my sister that she doesn't have a real disability? My sister, let's call her Billy, is a bit of a hypochondriac. Whenever she sneezes or her eyes water a little bit, she claims to have a severe hay fever. I have severe hay fever that I take medication for, and she does not show the symptoms and does nothing to treat it. Another example is that she experienced something as inane as a headache. She'll Google what the cause could be and usually asks me if I think she might have a tumour. I usually tell her to just drink some water. Pretty standard stuff. This is basically as far as it went during our childhood. The thing is, this doesn't seem to be anxiety based, because the moment it's just us two, all of her health complaints disappear. She posts about them on her SC story and makes a big fuss about wanting gluten-free options in restaurants in front of our friends and then eats sandwiches at home. Her hay fever disappears the moment she's outside in a grassy area with only me, etc. Recently, her, I guess you could call it attention seeking, has taken on a new development. A while ago she started claiming to suffer from chronic fatigue syndrome. She actually went to the doctors about it, and then another doctor, and another doctor after that, but none of them gave her a diagnosis because she's perfectly healthy. She also claimed to suffer from lupus, multiple sclerosis, and schizophrenia. She would post about these conditions on Instagram and Snapchat and consistently complained about symptoms without actually showing any of them. And again, every doctor she went to wouldn't diagnose her with the above conditions. This story comes in because of the whole coronavirus epidemic. She called me practically in the middle of the night back in March and started ranting about how she's worried she'll get it because she has so many underlying conditions and severe disabilities, and that they put her at severe risk and how she could die. At this point, I had just had enough of her bullshit. I know plenty of people who are actually at risk, and this just seemed disrespectful. So I told her point blank, "You don't have a real disability, Billy. Stop your fucking attention whoring. You are so self-centered that you even have to make an entire epidemic all about you. If you're ever unfortunate enough to suffer from anything you keep lying about, you'll see that's not some fun personality quirk. Go to hell." She hasn't spoken to me since that interaction, and I honestly didn't think I did anything wrong. However, our parents are siding with her and are very pissed off at me for it, because they completely believe that she is in fact disabled. Everyone around her thinks she's disabled. I feel like I'm going crazy, because it seems obvious to me that she's not. She has no diagnosis, and her symptoms disappear at the moment it's convenient. Am I the arsehole? Whilst I think you're sort of like mildly, don't jump on me here, mildly the arsehole for telling her to go to hell at the end, I think it's kind of justified as well. I don't think you're the arsehole in this situation. I think sometimes people need to be called out, but, you know, I'm not a doctor at the same time. It's hard to judge when you can't see someone and what they're doing. I know if we take what you said at face value, then I'd have to say you're not the arsehole, because I see plenty of people on my Facebook and stuff like that who like to post all the time about their ailments and things, and sometimes it just feels for likes. I don't know though. Maybe you have some people like this on your Facebook too. I don't know. I'm not going to judge too much because this could turn on me very badly. What do you guys think about this situation? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to vote in that top right hand corner. And our final story is coming from Fatey. I hope I got your name right. Probably haven't there, but am I the arsehole for not inviting my friend's daughter, 6 years, over because she's a bully? Long-time Reddit lurker, decided to make an account for this. My friend Sarah and I have daughters the same age, 5 to 6 years old. After college we kind of lost touch, but reconnected after I joined a buy/sell baby items group from my town when I was pregnant with my daughter. Sarah was a member and had her daughter Hannah a few months prior. Hannah is her second child, and she offered me advice and hand-me-downs, etc. I was excited to get a mum friend since none of my other girlfriends had children yet. Our daughters didn't go to the same preschool, but we had playdates with them as they were growing up. The girls ended up going to the same elementary school for kindergarten last year. Personality wise, Hannah is loud and outgoing and a bit bossy, when my daughter is very shy and gets nervous around new people / large groups. The trouble started when Hannah had a birthday party in November. I told my daughter and she told me she didn't want to go. I asked why not, and she said that she doesn't want to see Hannah and the other girls in her class because they tease her at school. When I asked her for the specifics, she said they called her a crybaby and a tattle. I made an excuse for my daughter not to go and spoke privately with Sarah about Hannah's behaviour. Sarah apologised for her daughter and said she'd talk to Hannah about it. I figured that was that. A few weeks later, I asked if my daughter if Hannah was any nicer to her. She kind of got quiet and said yes, but I could tell she was lying. I talked to Sarah again and she apologised, but she can't control what Hannah does at school, and that I should talk to the teachers about it, but she'd tell Hannah to be nicer. Well, then the virus hit. The schools closed down here in March and we've been homeschooling. In the past couple of weeks, my husband had seen people renting out fun jumps. He rented one Memorial weekend and got one this past weekend, as the kids like it so much. We invited the neighbourhood kids and parents to stop by and play if they wanted to. About 7 kids total. My daughter has loved it and made lots of friends and overall seems less anxious. Sarah saw me post on Facebook about it and asked if Hannah and her son could come by and play too. I firmly told her no, since Hannah has not been kind to my daughter and I never saw signs of improving. Sarah was really upset by this and said that she'd talk to Hannah, and if the girls got to spend time together, of course they'd become friends, etc, etc, but I told her no. My husband thinks I was too harsh and I should give them another chance because Hannah is only 6 and still learning, and she and our daughter might still be friends. Am I the asshole? Edit. My state began opening up 2 weeks ago and all the kids have been in isolation for 2 months. We sanitize everything often. The fun jump is not the point of this thread. Thank you. Edit 2. Since this needs more clarifying, when I say 7 kids, I mean for the entire weekend, not all at once. This is not a full party, but rather a temporary play area for the kids during the weekend. We're not going against guidelines for our state, and not in a hard-hit area. I can't say that you're the arsehole in this situation, because you're just trying to look out for your daughter. But at the same time, I think these kids are young, and they're still trying to find their way, you know. And getting these two together while supervised might be a good plan. At least you can watch over it, and you can maybe correct them if they're going wrong and help their relationship be stronger rather than keeping them separate. By keeping them separate, you're sort of telling your child that Hannah is the bad guy here. Let's keep them separate because you don't want to be around her, kind of thing, rather than try and bring them together and teach Hannah that what she's doing is upsetting your daughter. I don't know though. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a psychologist. I'm just me throwing random shit out there. But let me know what you think about this. Don't forget to comment below and don't forget to vote in that top right hand corner. Anyway guys, thank you for being here today. If you did enjoy today's stories, there's another one on your screen right now. Don't forget to click it, like, subscribe, all that good stuff, as it truly helps out our channel and keeps us going further and further. Your support recently has been absolutely amazing, mind-blowing, and I'm so thankful for you. Thank you for being here. You're truly appreciated. There's so many comments recently. I'm having trouble keeping up, but bear with me. I am reading everything. Trust me on that. And I love you guys. And I will see you in the next one. Much love, guys.